morning everybody. I am B.R. Nair. In my first episode, I explained about means of escape and factors affecting means of escape. This is the continuation of my first episode. In this episode, I will explain the different factors affecting means of escape and its continuation. So, I request all of you to subscribe my channel, like it and share it. Now, we will continue. Next is time of evacuation. Time of evacuation is the time required to reach the place of safety from the occupied place. It should be minimum as possible so that the evacuation is made fast. This is also about 1.5 minutes and 2 minutes and 2.5 minutes maximum any occupant will get, depending on the characteristic of the occupant. Because then comes the occupancy. What are the different, how is the occupancy of the building? Whether it is old people, mentally disturbed people, pregnant ladies, children, infants. Or if all are able-bodied, the evacuation will be as fast as possible. Suppose you just examine a military camp or a police training institute. When the inspector comes and simply blow a whistle, everybody will come out. But if you are going to engineering college and blowing a whistle, all the students will blow whistle, nobody will come out. So, depending on the occupancy, the evacuation will be as fast as possible. So, the able-bodied, ambulant persons, ladies, infants, children, etc., pregnant ladies, etc., will take more time to get evacuated. In such cases, they need external assistance. And if some are handicapped, they will also take more time. So, depending on the occupancy, the time of evacuation also will vary. And if it is increasing more and more, then the death rate will be more or the accidents will be more. So, this construction, time of evacuation, occupancy, exit, number of exit, width of exit, all these things counts. Then comes travel distance. Travel distance is the distance to be travelled. Distance an occupant or a person has to travel from the place of occupancy to the place of safety. That should be minimum as possible. So, you see in cinema theatres and all that, you see different chairs placed in a row. And if you want to go out of the, get out of the cinema hall, then you have to walk and you have to push everybody, you have to tell everybody, please, 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 like this you have to go. It may take more time. So, the rule says in a single row, there will be only 7 seats. After 7 seats, there will be a walkway of 1.5 meters or 1 meter or 2 meter like that. So, that one person need not have to cross more than 3 people to get to the passage. Because a man sitting in the middle of the seven-seater, he will be having 3 seats this side and 3 seats like that. When he crosses 3 seats, he will be reaching a passage. So, it makes the evacuation easy and faster. Next is explanation of occupancy. The number of occupants. How many people are there? That is the number of occupants. And accordingly, how many exits are there? And the different type of occupancy I am explaining. Density factor, how the occupants are distributed in the area, where they are sitting together or whether they are in cubicles or isolated or group of 3, 4, 5 like that, how they are distributed. That is density factor. Or per square meter area, how many people are there. That is what is called as density factor. Then distribution, how the occupants are distributed in different areas. Physical condition of the occupants. If all are able-bodied or if somebody is ambulant, all these things counts. Then expected reaction, how the people will react when some emergency alarm comes or when emergency arises. People will become panic. What is panic? Panic is a sudden seizure of fear to the engulfing the entire crowd. Panic is a sudden seizure of fear engulfing the entire crowd. Why? Fear is to individual, panic to the crowd. The total crowd is getting a sort of fear for no reason. So, something is going to happen like that. This is what is called panic. When people are in panic, they will behave indifferently. Suppose you see, I will cite a simple example. So, while sitting in the office, you are getting a phone call. The phone call is that like your wife's father is expired. So, you have to go to your house, call the wife, take her to the home and all that. So immediately you will take leave, you will leave to house, and after reaching the house, wife will definitely ask you what happened, why you are coming back, what happened. Then we will say you some phone call has come that your father is serious, is taken to hospital, so we may go there. Like that you are expressing the situation or explaining the situation. So wife will go to change the dress. At that time we will go to the doorstep and say, you take 2-3 dresses more. Sometimes if your father is in hospital, you may have to sit in hospital for 2-3 days. You take some dresses also. Like that you are taking your wife to the wife's house. On the way you will simply say, it is heard that he has fallen down and something serious, or some blood has come from mouth, taken to hospital. So anyway, we will go to the hospital and see what is happening. And after some time, some phone call will come. So you say he is taken back to house. There is nothing serious. Anyway, we will go, and we will take the wife to her house. And while reaching in the doorstep, you can see the body is kept there and covered with white cloth. No need of further explanation and all. But immediately after reaching the house, directly you are telling hello, your father has expired. Please come with me. Then they will face a different situation. So this is how the people will react. That is what is called an expected reaction. So the expected reaction may also cause safe evacuation. Then discipline is the people are disciplined, they will react. As I told you earlier, the evacuation process by simply blowing a whistle in the army camp or in a police training school, the people will behave in a disciplined way. And asleep or awake, when people are asleep, they may take more time to come out of the bedroom. They have to fetch for their dress, they have to put on light and find out so many things, and then only they will come. And if they are awake, the reaction will be fast, and evacuation also will be fast. Then use of the building. If a building is purpose-built, a building which is constructed for a particular purpose and using for the same purpose, the situation will be more safe and evacuation will be easy. So if a cattle shed is converted to a nursery school, then the situation will be different. So each building should have its own purpose and its own use, which makes evacuation easy. Then comes the exit. Disposition of the exit. So as I told you earlier, there shall be 1 or 2 exit or 4 exit like that. Then each exit, all the 4 exits should not be accumulated at one corner of the room. They will be distributed at a different location, so that from each portion people can move to the exit and get out of the door. And exit also, the doors, when you think about the doors, there is a difference in between the doors opening outward and doors opening inward. For easy and smooth evacuation, the doors opening outward are good. Suppose if the door is opening inward, some of the occupants will be behind the door pan. So always the door should open outward and it should play along with the wall of the building, so that there will be no obstruction for the smooth flow of the occupants toward the place of safety. And the width of exit also, as per the number of occupants, the width also should increase. Actually, 1 unit of exit width is 500 centimeter, and minimum a door should have minimum 2 units of width. That means minimum 1 meter it should have. The more the width, the more the evacuation speed. And high density factor, if people are accumulated, if the density factor of the people is more, evacuation will be a problem. It will take more time, it will consume more time. And same is the condition with the floating population. In these shopping malls and all that, the population, we call it as floating population. Nobody knows who have come, how many people are there, nobody knows. When something goes wrong, then only we will take the count and all that. Today now we have explained different factors affecting means of escape. When you are getting into a place of unknown place or a place of public assembly, what all things you have to look into, where you have to sit, which are the means of escape facilities available in the building, through which route you can go out of the building, all these things you have to remain in your mind. And better in crowded place, it is better not to go, in my opinion. I never used to go for film and all that, because of all, when I studied all these safety rules and regulations, I am always afraid of mob behavior and this crowd. So I have explained you the definition for means of escape. different factors affecting means of escape, that CTOET, construction, time of evacuation, occupancy, exit and travel distance, then different type of occupancy. All these things I have explained. I hope this speech will be helpful for you for your own personal safety. This episode is concluding today. Next episode will come in next week. I request all of you to like, share and subscribe my channel. Thank you.